everybody, No Mind here. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the newly reworked Chieftain Ascendancy that is dropping and going live in the upcoming 3.22 update, Trials of the Ancestors. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so there's a lot of changes to discuss here. I'm not going to compare it to the old one like I did the Guardian Ascendancy video, but I'm just going to go ahead and just point out which nodes are new and which are not. So let's start from, we're just going to go top to bottom like we did last video. So the first node we're going to talk about is Valaco Storm's Embrace. Modifiers to maximum fire resistance also apply to maximum cold and lightning resistances. So this is kind of cool, you know, you can like kind of go all in on maxing out your fire resistance. The maximum resistance cap in PoE currently is 90%. You cannot go higher than 90%. But you know, this is kind of like a cool way of like kind of capping or maybe getting close to that 90% mark. It is very hard to get close to 90% all maximum resistances in PoE. This is like a nice note to do it. Again, you know, there are items out there that currently do the same thing. So you know, we'll be interested to see how many people actually pick this node. Let's talk about the next node. Thessalios Cleansing Water. Modifiers to fire resistances also apply to cold and lightning resistances to at 50% of their value, and you are unaffected by ignite. So you know, a little bit of ignite immunity right there. And also modifiers, you know, so basically if you have 10% fire resistance, you're gonna get 5% cold and lightning resistance. So that's a pretty cool thing, you know. Definitely an ascendancy that's focused around just like stacking fire resistance. That's a pretty cool concept, you know. We'll see how practical it is in execution, but you know, let's keep going. I'm definitely gonna butcher this word. Aru Hongwis. Moon's Presence. Recoup 10% of damage taken by your totems as life. Your totems regenerate 1 life per second per 4 of your life recovery per second from regeneration. Totems taunt enemies around them for 4 seconds when summoned. So it's kind of like a pseudo decoy totem, which is kind of cool. I'm not a big totem player. I'm not sure how this will affect anything. Recouping 10% of damage taken by your totems could be pretty useful if you're fighting like a big boss that does a lot of damage. But if your totems are dying in a boss fight anyways, or like, you know, even when regular clearing, you know, you kind of have a bigger issue with your build, right? So I don't think this node is incredibly useful. I don't think anybody's really going to pick it. But again, I am not a totem player, so we'll find out as the league progresses, correct? So the next node we're going to talk about is Nagahamu's Flames Advance, right? This is a pretty cool one. This is probably the first ascendancy of its kind that kind of lets you do this. Basically, it's saying that non-unique jewels cause increases and reductions to other damage types in a large radius to be transformed to apply to fire damage. So that's pretty interesting. Basically, any like lightning, you know, cold damage that you have like in a large radius, and it's a non-unique jewel, will be transformed and they'll be applied to your fire damage instead. I would like to see, I would kind of like a visual aid of how this works maybe. And you know, I mean, it just kind of seems okay. It doesn't seem too game breaking, but who knows, you know, maybe the application is a lot better than it sounds in the description, right? So next we're going to talk about Tabahua's Forest Strength. This is pretty much the same as the current Chieftain Ascendancy. Nothing's really, you know, changed. You just trigger level 20 Tabahua's Chosen when you attack with a non-ball slam or strike skill near an enemy, right? Nothing really different there. Tukahama's War Heralds. Skills from equipped body armor are supported by level 30 Ancestor Called. Skills from equipped body armor are supported by level 20 Fist of War. This seems pretty cool. You know, you're literally getting an extra like 2 links on your body armor, so you can like so you don't need these and you can just basically slot in damage. So you know, it might be pretty useful for some builds. We'll see how this kind of plays out you know, in practice. Ramco's Sunlight. So nearby enemies have no fire resistance against damage over time while you are stationary. Now, you know, as we discussed before, PoE is a very fluid game. You know, you got to move fast, right? Usually standing still in PoE means death. The only place where I can think this is not an issue is like during boss fights. If you're really good about predicting boss mechanics, you definitely can stand still for a few seconds. So, you can, apply this debuff. But I mean, that's a very niche use case, so who knows, like maybe this will be like a really good, like, if your focus is on bossing, then you might want to pick this up if you're really good at predicting boss mechanics and you can actually stand still. But in practice, it doesn't sound too appetizing. But we'll see. And then lastly, Hinokura, Death's Fury. Enemies you kill have a 5% chance to explode, dealing 500% of their maximum life as fire damage. Now, this sounds exciting. I'm a big fan of Explode, like a lot of people in PoE. So, if you're going more of a mapping build, this is probably a really nice note to grab. You pretty much just socket it in and you have free Explode. And that's pretty much all the changes, I believe, that we've discussed. Now, what I think about the overall Ascendancy, I think, with the Ramako Sunlight node where nearby enemies have no fire resistance, that could definitely be good for bossing. And then also the Explode node, Hinokura, Death's Fury, that could also be really good for map clearing. So, it's, honestly, like, I don't really have a good feel for what the Ascendancy is gonna feel like in practice. I'm not really a good Chieftain player, but maybe like I will try out Chieftain this league for you folks, to see kind of how it works and maybe make a fun build around it. Who knows? It might it might turn out to be super strong, in the end game. But yeah, I guess we'll find out together, huh? Then there you have it, folks. First look at the Chieftain Ascendancy on my channel. I'm not really a Chieftain player, but if you're a Chieftain player, please feel free to comment down below and let me know what you think about the changes. Do you think it's going to be strong? Do you think it's going to be weak? Do you think it's going to just be, meh? And also, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching my video. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. It really helps the YouTube algorithm and really get my name on there so I can do more of this kind of content for you folks. Again, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.